really wasn't that excited about visiting Lake Tyrrell. It was my friends Don and Andy's idea to go there. They were really keen to do drone photography and astrophotography there, and my drone's out of action and I'm not much of an astrophotographer. So I thought, well, I'll busy myself with a bit of landscape photography, but there's not many birds there, and I thought, I'm going to be probably over it by 24 hours. But I have to eat my words because it was a great place to visit. I really enjoyed the several days that we spent there, and I'm looking forward to going back again. Lake Tyrrell is Victoria's largest salt lake, with over 100,000 tonnes of salt harvested each year. It's a fascinating place to visit, and it's been geared towards photography tourism with good reason. The nearest town to Lake Tyrrell is Sea Lake, a sleepy wheatbelt town most known for the Mallee Rally motoring event and its murals and silo art. It's one of those towns you'd probably drive through without bothering to stop, but it's really worth a closer look. There's impressive artwork at the silos near the town, a couple of cafes to grab a bite to eat, and the aptly named Sky Mirror Gallery and Cafe, showcasing stunning photography of Lake Tyrrell. Make sure you stop there for some creative inspiration and an espresso. Photos of Lake Tyrrell on social media have probably helped to put Sea Lake on the map. The combination of earth, sky, salt and water make Lake Tyrrell a fascinating subject to photograph. Shimmering plains of salt juxtaposed with huge expanses of sky, it makes you feel like you're on another planet. I was surprised by the many moods of the place we experienced in just a few short days, and we weren't there in anywhere near its full potential, where pink algal blooms can flourish and shallow layers of water over the salty depression create dazzling walk-on-water reflections. Lake Tyrrell has a couple of hidden features that are popular in photographic compositions and are splashed on social media fairly frequently. One is the old grader sitting about a kilometre out into the salt bed. It was a highlight of our trip, trekking out through the salty slush to photograph it on sunset. And it really was a trudge, with the combo of shallow water and salt not unlike trekking through snow or wet sand. The sunset seemed to go on forever, and although it's not the best we've seen, it was moody and dramatic and shone some nice light on the rusty old grader. It was a long trek back to our vehicles in the dark and the wind, but we were all happy little campers and spirits were high with the pretty favourable light conditions. The second Tyrrell feature is the old abandoned bus, a favourite with astrophotographers. Unfortunately, the timing of our visit was not ideal for astro, with bright moonlight dominating the night skies. My intrepid friend and talented photographer Andy diligently waited for the right moment at some ungodly hour and managed a couple of Milky Way shots while I was happily snoozing the night away. Third Tyrrell feature is its drone photography potential. The views from above are incredibly detailed and nuanced, creating a story all of their own that's just not apparent at ground level. Check out the amazing variation in colour and form in these beautiful shots by my friend Don Goldney. I'm definitely bringing my drone to Tyrrell next time. Birding at Lake Tyrrell is a secondary feature to landscape photography. It was a little challenging with moderate winds throughout our stay. I found it difficult to hear and track birds. With such a harsh environment to contend with, it's actually amazing that there's any birds here at all. But there are, more than you would think there would be from first impressions. With a near perfect backdrop of samphire, saltbush and bleached driftwood, it was really worth persevering to find a bird, any bird, to photograph. The crimson chat was the number one on my list of birds to find, but unfortunately I wasn't lucky enough to spot one this time. I did see some black-faced wood swallows, a couple of honeyeaters, black-shouldered kites, pied butcherbirds, some trusty crested pigeons, and a pair of very camera-shy white-fronted chats who zipped away from me pretty quickly. With not much foliage, it was not easy to sneak up on birds who could quickly take off and be too far away to pursue any further. My birding highlight was tracking a delightfully patchy male white-winged fairy wren and a fluffball juvenile who eventually allowed me a shot, but only after having my shoe pulled off by some incredibly stinky mud in the process. I stupidly didn't put on my gumboots that morning, and they're an absolute must for birding at this site. The main viewing area at Tyrrell features oversized letters, a pretty nifty circular viewing platform, and the Sky Lounge, decked out with laid-back outdoor lounges and some interp signs about the constellations. They've really gone the extra mile for photographers, including red lighting in the toilet block, providing a strangely surreal toilet experience, but eliminating the chance of spoiling any astrophotographers' shots with unexpected lights. Camping isn't permitted at Lake Tyrrell, but we roamed around undisturbed at night, and as it wasn't school holidays, we mostly had the place to ourselves during the day as well. A handful of tourists periodically pulled up for the obligatory 5-minute viewing and selfie, and a couple of council workers came to check the bins and had a chat with us. Slinking around for hours looking for birds in the wind is pretty tiring work, so I decided to return to the campground at Green Lake Recreation Reserve each night. It's about a 15-minute drive away. I have so many good things to say about this fantastic spot. It's definitely deserving of its own video, so stay tuned for that one. If camping's not your thing, there's quite a few good-looking accommodation options in Sea Lake. And with only 6-kilometre drive to Lake Tyrrell, it's an easy drive even well before dawn. Lake Tyrrell has well and truly earned its place on any photography tour worth its salt. The combination of the surreal landscape and big skies with just enough interesting birds place it on my list for a return visit. And at only about 4 hours drive from Melbourne, I'm surprised how quiet it was. A mostly undiscovered, albeit sludgy, salty and windy gem. Sea Lake and Lake Tyrrell, thanks for an unexpectedly great visit. I'll see you again for another salty adventure.